Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked at me.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Wine Talks Podcast. I am joined by the lovely
Daisy.
and by the handsome.
Jesus.
That would be me. And,
Oh,
and,
shit.
So now we know what you really think about it.
and Davin is here too. I mean, you know.
Oh my god. Yes, David, sorry.
That was cute.
He's just here. Davin's just here too. Alright.
It's a Monday, people.
Well, today I did want to talk about, I feel like this season, everybody starts, love everyone and helping out. But
It's cuffing season. What up?
Yes. But I did,
Do you guys not know that? Oh my gosh, I'm teaching you guys something every podcast. Last time you didn't know what was it? The FOMO? Cuffing season is a season when single people try to get somebody to be with for the season so they don't gotta cuddle alone and all that shit. Like, because it's time for winter and so a lot of people stay inside. And so, like,
season?
cuffing season. So, like, you kind of cuff yourself to somebody.
Oh,
That way you have somebody to
I thought you
cuff.
meant like cough. I was
No,
like,
not
is it because
coughing.
everyone's
No.
sick?
No, cuffing. That way you have somebody to watch
Wait, what was
movies
FOMO?
with and the fear of missing out.
oh God.
But yeah, anyways, I guess I have to teach these viejitos something every
I
week.
think the young people lately think they have everything. That's why they're so messed
seriously.
up.
I know, right?
It's like, I'm afraid of missing out. I'm afraid of being alone. Fuck.
Yeah, but no. So I wanted to talk about the definition.
Not interested.
I don't know.
It's like,
So,
fuck you guys.
yeah.
I have this like I tell Davin and Daisy this, like I've told them this many times, where it's like they sometimes like go off and they'll just like laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh, and like if you listen to our podcast, it's always me like, okay guys, like let's bring it back. Let's talk about what we were
Laughing is
talking.
good.
Laughing is the best medicine, Jesus.
Yeah, why are you trying to ruin our vibe?
I am seriously, I swear, and I hope it happens during this podcast. Next time that you both have like a giggle attack, I'm just gonna stay completely quiet.
Oh
And I
Is
bet
that a threat?
I-
That
oh.
sounds like very threatful.
We're about to
and
laugh for the
dangerous.
next 5
That is not
minutes.
threat. That is a warning. But seriously, you guys get laughing, and I'm not gonna say anything, and watch. You guys are just gonna laugh and laugh and
Oh
laugh
my god.
and continue laughing for like 5 minutes, and then I'm just gonna be here.
We're
like,
funny people.
So yeah.
yeah,
Twiddling his thumbs like.
He's just like, when are these two gonna be done?
Okay, then go. You want to
Okay.
be in charge.
Y eso que there's no wine, eh?
Oh, that's
Daisy,
true.
forgot it
No,
this
no.
time.
Okay, because I keep my wine at my in-laws,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't go to we've started this thing rotation thing where it's like my in-laws and then my mother, my in-laws and then my mother.
Okay.
And I went to my mother, and she didn't have no alcohol.
So next Monday. Okay, we're on it.
Next Monday.
I'll
Welcome
bring
to.
two.
Okay.
We'll
get
make
drunk
up.
enough for both podcasts.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, you go. Let's get back to our topic. Go
Well, I
ahead.
want to know what the definition of love is for you guys. Like, what does love mean?
Wait, what brought you
For
to this
you.
again?
Just the season, the holiday season, everybody,
It's
is
very
just
random.
so loving and so
Coffee.
caring and everything. I just want to know about that. I want to know, like, what the definition of love is for you guys. And then also, like, at what point in your relationship, because we're all married, did you know that person was the person that you wanted to
We're
spend the rest of your
single.
life with?
Just
Oh,
kidding.
the
we're
single
married.
ladies. Oh, the single ladies.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm real embarrassed. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's okay. These two are just ratchet.
Oh my god! What if
Yeah.
they were lonely? They're driving in the highway, and they just hear a laugh, and they're just gonna start laughing themselves
Yeah.
too. And
Plus,
then
what if
they're
they're
not
having
lonely
a
no
really
more.
bad day and like our laughing brings
It's
their
contagious.
moods up?
You didn't know that shit?
I used to remember watching that, I think it was like on Discovery Kids, that it was like a bunch of animals yawning, and then at the very end it was
Oh.
like, yawning, it's contagious.
It is contagious.
And I would just
That
sit
is,
there and
yeah.
just yawn the whole freaking commercial.
Even if you look at the word yawn, you can, like, your brain will trigger a yawn in your body.
People don't know why. The doctors don't know why we yawn. Did you know that?
I heard it was to give a lot more oxygen to your
I've heard
brain.
that too, but I've heard that it's a lie.
Oh. You know, let us know.
Let us know.
If you're a doctor
That's
in the field of yawning, if you're a yawnologist, just let us know. Please tell me you didn't waste your money on that shit. You didn't go to some ghetto ass house like the School of Yawnology. It's only $20,000 a semester. You're like, what up?
Better than the government.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Love.
So, yeah.
We're never gonna get through this topic.
We're 5 minutes in. We only have 15 left.
So you got 5 minutes
To get my shit
decide
together.
what your shit is gonna be.
Okay, you go first, Hester. Because we're obviously on Giggle Town all night tonight, so you go.
You know, that's actually something that I used
Wait,
to ask
explain
my
the
mom.
topic one more time, just in case we forgot. Because I already. So, what love
What
means
love
to you,
means to you,
and how you know you love somebody, how you know
At
what?
what point did you know you wanted to spend the rest of your
Oh,
life with
okay,
your significant other?
cool.
I actually used to ask my mom this because when I was thinking about proposing, I was like, Mom, when did you know that, like, my dad was the one for you? And I remember her stories. Like, she used to tell me, she was like, it's not like I was, like, a super hot girl or anything, but she started telling me this story, and she goes, but I had a boyfriend, you know, when I was, like, 15, and we dated for maybe about 3 years, and then I found out that he cheated on me, and I said goodbye. And then I dated another guy.
Jesus
And,
Christ, 3 years?
Yeah.
Damn, your mom missed out on a lot of things.
and then she said that she met another guy, and that he used to wear like high waters, and that my mom used to think it was like very
Like
ghetto.
capri?
No,
Yeah.
like where your pants are too short for you, like this.
Yeah, like a capri.
Capri.
I thought capris were like a.
See, and I'm teaching you something.
The old school shit.
The old school shit. Se llaman capris.
And my mom said that like
charcos.
she that one she didn't. That one he didn't know, so that's a good one. But she said that he told him one time was like, I don't like that you wear those type of pants, and that he was like, oh well, whatever. And so she said that one day he wore them, and she was like, you know what, I can't date you, goodbye, and like broke up with him just specifically for that reason. And then she met another guy, and she said that she started because my mom was like
Kind of cool-hearted.
I know.
She should have at least tried to buy him some pants. And wear these
Your
ones.
style is too ghetto
Here,
for me. You
try these ones.
badass.
And then she said that she met, because my mom was a secretary for the government, and so she was always working with like, you know, really like rich and high-end people, and she said that she used to be secretary for this one guy, and that he had asked her on a date, and that they went out to eat together, and every single day like he would have roses at her desk, or chocolates, or
my
like
God.
he would take her out to go see like
That sounds
like
fucking awesome.
movie theaters and stuff like that. And he was older than her though by like I think like maybe like 10 years or something like that. And he said that he was gonna get
Even
Buena
better.
señora, think it too.
Plus, he's gonna die before everything.
She'll be young. She can remarry.
Gosh. Well, he said that he was gonna like he was gonna transfer over to another department, and that he wanted to take my mom with her, and that my mom was kind of like, no, you know, like my whole life is like here, like my whole family's here, like I don't plan on moving, like. And at this time, like they weren't even official, like it wasn't even like they were not titled like boyfriend girlfriend, like he would just do cute things and take her out on dates.
Never mind. That sounds kind of rapist.
And so, gosh.
Like
It's-
if you there's love, then there's a founded thing of why you should leave with him. If he just wants to take you, who knows? You'd
He's
be a
like,
sex slave for the
I
rest
gave
of your
you
life.
chocolates. You gotta come live with me
Now
now,
give
girl.
me head.
Oh shoot!
It's a big
But-
payout for chocolates.
And rosas.
Yeah,
But-
don't forget that.
She said that my mom was just like, no, like I don't really plan on it. And then one day, she ran into, like she was leaving her house, and that she ran into him, and that he was with his mom, and that he had a big bouquet of like roses, and that she was like, what are you doing? She was like, I am coming to see your parents to ask for your hand in marriage.
Ay, puta madre.
And that my mom was like, I don't want to marry you.
Damn.
And that he
Oh,
was
damn.
like,
She's a
"Well."
heartbreaker?
So he said that, she was like, well, I thought when you said that you didn't want to leave because you didn't want to leave your parents, it was because you weren't married. Like, if we get married, you know, like, you'll have, like, a reason, I guess, to want to, you know, live with me. And my mom was like, I don't want to marry you, like, period. And he was insisting on, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna ask your parents. And she was like, I don't care. Like, even when my parents love you and they say yes, like, I don't want to marry you. And then she said that she met my dad after that. And my dad was kind of a creep. He used to stalk her because he was really shy to actually ask her out. And so after stalking her for a couple of days, it was
the
my...
one who won her heart.
Yeah.
The stalker.
And so after like a couple of days though, like my mom was the one who confronted my dad. And that's when my mom said, she said, you know, I had all these guys like who I had, you know, like had dated before. I mean, a 3-year relationship, like you said, like it's such a long time.
Yeah.
And then for a guy to like almost be close to proposing and like asking for my hand in marriage. And then I met your dad, and my mom and dad only dated for 3 months before he proposed. And then 3 months later, they were married. So my parents only dated for 6 months. And before my mom, like a month before my mom passed away, they celebrated 25 years of marriage. And so they were together for a really long time, you know what I mean? And it was that thing where my mom couldn't tell me. She was like, I just knew. She's like, there was just something about your dad that I was like, this is the guy that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Like, there was no, she was like, so obviously the attraction was there, but it's not like your dad had money. Like, it's not like your dad was like rich, and, you know, like he would sometimes take me out and he would buy me ice cream, and I would tell him, well, do you want ice? Like, aren't you not going to have ice cream? And he would be like, I don't have enough money to buy myself some ice cream, so I'm just going to spend the money that I have on buying you an ice cream. You know, and just like little stuff. So my mom was like, so I knew that he didn't have money, you know, and like I knew that, you know, it wasn't that sort of thing. It's like, but I fell for the person that he was, and like I said, 6 months later, we were married. And I think that's one of my favorite like stories about that my mom would ever tell me, especially because I asked it at that moment when I was thinking about proposing. And that's what she said. She said, so the fact that you're thinking about proposing obviously means something. And then after how long did we date for? 3 years. And I was like, that's a really long time to know, because I feel like otherwise it's almost like you're wasting your time on somebody.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where you're just like, why? Like, if you don't think this is gonna go a little bit more serious, it's like, this is just time wasted.
That's
for
what
me.
I told him.
Yeah.
When we did
But what about you?
Yeah, when we got to our 3-year anniversary.
Wait, you didn't really explain.
Yeah.
You explained your mom's version
That was your
of
mom.
it.
I think
Not yours.
that's just me though. Like, that's what I realized. Like, I met the person that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, and there was not one single thing that I could point out. Like, where it was like, it was because of this. Like, it was just so many little things piled up into one another. Like his ability to be hardworking and to be dedicated, and then I loved like his family values. Like, that's what I mean. Like, there was just so many things that just brought up to me, like, I want to spend
See
the
how
rest of my
perfect
life.
I am?
Oh gosh. There's so many things that I was like, okay, I want to stay with this person, I want to be with this person, I want to fight for this person. So I think that was, to me, I don't think there was ever one moment where I was like, yep, he's the one. I think it was just like multiple situations where I was like, I can see me spending the rest of my life with this person, just because especially because I feel like you find common grounds with the people that you want to spend the rest of your life with, you know? And so it was moments like that, little moments that I was like, oh, okay, I like this. But what about you?
Wait, what is also love? Wait, what is it? What was your
Love
question?
mean to you.
Yeah.
I think love
Just
for
knock
me,
them both out of the park
love
at
for
the same
me is
time.
just dedication. Dedication and just
To what? To who? Be a little more specific.
I think dedication and just like always being able to
I mean, there's
be
people who are
there
dedicated
for somebody
to themselves,
else.
you know. It's just selfish.
I just feel like always being there for somebody else, like like almost like putting somebody else before you.
I get the
to me
dedicated
love.
part of it though, because like when you're dedicated, like if you love your animal, you're very dedicated to taking care of them, or like I'm not saying
so
that's
caring.
yeah. Well, also making sure that you're like you also direct attention towards, like you're dedicated, like you, that's one thing that's at the top of your mind is you know that you also want to make that person feel like you care, like yeah. So caring, yes, but being dedicated to showing them that you care, I guess, is something. I guess.
Yeah, dedication, like just being able to share your happiness with somebody else too. Like whether, like you said, whether that's a pet or a sister or a brother or even just a family member like your mom or your dad or your significant other, like showing somebody that you care about them. Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
So you, Daisy?
No, you go first.
No, because he just talked forever. So you go.
Well, see, what is love for me? For me to be loved, or for me to
feel
love, or
like for you to give love. What does that feel like to you?
I mean, what made me fall in love with my husband was, I think a part of love is admiration, that you have to admire something in the other person, you know. When I met Nick, I didn't think that we were going to be married, let alone, you know, forever in love. I really thought that we were going to break up after a month. Like, I honestly did think that we were going to break up for a month. Like, he was so different than me, but he was everything I wanted to be. So I was like, well, I know I'm not any of those things, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And then if I fool him, haha, I win. Kind of. And it worked.
She's winning.
You know, and I feel that just the fact that I wanted to be like him made me fall in love with the things that he was doing, the dedication that he had, you know, to his family. Like, that was something that I admired, that he was so dedicated to his family, that he was very hardworking, that he didn't give up on his dreams. And I wanted that energy. I wanted to be that person myself in my life, you know, and I had that. And I think that's kind of a little bit what love is, that you fall in love with the person who you want to be, but you're not there yet. So that is your significant other for me. As far as like feeling loved, yeah, there's a lot of caring that takes into place, you know. He made me feel special. We never really got into fights. I'm not a person who puts up with a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm very, like, if you're not doing good to me, I'm going to remove myself from the situation and just kind of, you know, like your mom, she didn't like his style. She removed herself from that situation.
I do not like your hot waters.
So I'm goodbye. So in that sense, I understand that. If I don't feel special, if I feel like if you're not caring for me, then I'm gonna leave because you don't. But at the same time, like, when we got to our 3-year mark, like, I knew that I felt comfortable with him. I knew that I was myself when I was with him. I knew that I was my best self when I was with him. And I still looked up to him. Like, when we were 3 years after I already known him, he would do something, I was like, oh, that's so cool. I can't believe he's with me. You know? And when we got to 3 years, you know, I told him, I was like, you have to either propose or let me go. Because you spent 3 years with me. At this point, you should know whether you want to be with me or not. And if you don't want to be with me, that's fine. But you should let me go so that I can go find somebody who I should be with. You know, I want to be with you forever, but if you don't want to be with me, I'm not someone to beg for love. You either love me or you don't. Like, that's what it is, you know. It's not a matter of whether you're good or not. It's whether that person has a taste in you.
So what did you see in him, though, that made you want to make him propose? Well, not make him, but what did you see in him where you were like, I want him to propose to me now? Like, I would say yes if you proposed. I know that you said, like, you admired him, but, like, what was it in him that you were like, okay, these things are why?
He was kind. He was very loving, and he was very caring to me and my family. And I knew that I wanted to be around that person forever.
Okay. Cool.
He is kind, not like he was. Like, he's no longer kind.
He's a jerk now.
Back in the day.
It was bait and switch.
He is.
No, yeah,
he's still very kind.
I love Nick.
And he's not just kind to me or to my family. He's kind to strangers, and I love that about him. I love that.
Yeah, there was a time
has such
that
a huge heart.
she's gotten I know it's Facebook, so it's ridiculous. You got in an argument on Facebook, and I remember you stepped in too, but you typed some stuff, and like the guy still was like kind of relentless about it, and Nick just kind of like stepped in, and it was just cool to see him stick up for. It wasn't for you. I mean, yes, because you were involved on it, but it was like for a friend, and it was just cool to see Nick be so caring, to be like, these are my beliefs, I'm gonna stick up for my friends, and boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love Nick. He's awesome.
So I like that about him. I like it's not like one big thing. It's not like, oh wow, he has that one characteristic
Right.
and it's huge, right? It's the little things, the small details, the fact that, you know, I told him when we first got our house that I wanted a peephole, like, to see through the door, and one day I came home from work and it was installed.
Cool.
You know, or as simple as, like, I call him and I tell him I'm having a bad day, and I get home and he's made me my favorite dinner and he has, like, a bath waiting for me. You know, it's just like you feel like they've got you when you don't have yourself.
Right.
I like
I don't
that.
know.
No, that's good.
Sorry.
I really like that.
You're weird.
I am weird. And one time a therapist told me, he's like, you're not supposed to put like all your happiness in another person, and he's right. You're not supposed to, but it feels nice to be taken care of, and it feels nice to be validated. And I've never felt like Nick has disrespected me, and I've never felt like he disrespected my family or his family, because sometimes you gotta take a look at how they treat their own families.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because eventually you're gonna be their family. You know
if
what
he talks
I mean?
to his mom like she's a piece of shit, then eventually he's gonna talk
To
like
you
you.
like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what would break it for me, when there's no more respect between him and I, whether that be in the bedroom, whether that be in intellectually, whether that be as financially, whatever that may be. If there's no respect, then I'm like, okay, if you don't respect somebody, you obviously don't care for that person.
Well, that's a good add-on. So, like, what would be your breaking point where you'd be like, that's it. Like, I'm willing to give up this 5, 6, 7, or 12, or 15, or 20-year relationship. Would that be your breaking point?
I think so, because once there's no respect in a relationship, I think there's the abuse comes into play. Whether that be verbal, physical, mental, emotional, or even just like I feel like that's where the cheating comes into place, and the disrespect of like having your, because I don't feel like there's anything wrong with like not falling out of love.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I feel like it happens, and if it happens, then do it clean and just part ways.
Yeah.
But I feel like when there's no respect, then that's when things get shady, and you're fucking your mistress in your bed,
Yeah. So what would your breaking point be then?
I actually kind of agree with her, that disrespect, because I feel like that's something that I kind of learned from, like, just my parents as well. Like, there would be times where, like, my parents would get into fights, and I felt like there was one of those things where, like, I feel like, especially my dad, he's more of, like, a walk away sort of guy. But for me, it's that thing, like, yeah, I hate that too. But for me, it's like dealing,
out, bitch!
It's dealing with, like, I think it's dealing just like with your significant other and just doing that. Like, there are a couple days where like Davin and I have gone into an argument, and I say something like, don't speak to me that way, and it's not like he's like cussing me out or anything like that, but it's just like where he'll be like, well, I told you to do this, and I'm just like, okay, like, we both need to calm down, because I'm speaking to him the same way, and
It elevates you, right?
And I don't ever want to get to that point where it's like I ever feel disrespected or I ever disrespect him. And so there are days where we both have to kind of like, okay, look, we're gonna get to that point where I'm gonna say something that maybe I don't mean, or vice versa. And I feel like that's what the respect comes in. So I agree with Daisy on this one, like that respect, because it's not just towards each other, but towards everybody else too.
Stealing your answer again, Daisy.
What is this? Like
this is like the third podcast.
Oh my gosh, these guys are keeping tabs or something. All right, then your turn. Speak highly of me, please.
I'm gonna need a couple hours to think about this. I'm just kidding. No. Getting into this relationship with Jesus that I'm in now, I really came into it with the thought of, I don't believe in, not necessarily I don't believe in love, because obviously I feel love towards my family, and I felt it before, so I knew it was true, but I had more of the thought process of fuck love. I don't really, like, yes, why get in a relationship if you don't think you're ever gonna feel it again? But I was just more just like, I'm gonna try to live my life, and I'll come into this relationship and I'll give it a shot, but I'm not necessarily not expecting it to go anywhere, but I really was so shut off that I never really allowed myself to feel, and our relationship at the beginning was very like bad because of me, because I was just like, fuck this, fuck that. And so one thing that I was really like I loved was when Jesus proposed to me. I sat there and I thought about it, and I was like, I wasn't like this horrible person to him, like beating him up or anything, like nothing like that. Like, I still respected him, but I was like, he stuck by my side through things that most people would have already given up on. Mm-hmm. Like, I was the kind of person that you give up on throughout the whole like year of our relationship. So and he wasn't. It's not that he was stupid and he was forgiving me for ridiculous things. It was more that you could tell that he was like, you're somebody worth feeling loved again. And so I was like, well, if this guy can give that to me, then I obviously deserve it at some point. So I let myself feel, and so that's how I knew that I was like, yes. Because I was scared when he proposed to me. I was like, I don't know, I'm too young. And then just in that quick second, like when he was talking to me, it was like the whole world drowned out, and I was like, why would you say no to this, and why would you lose this part of your life that has made you confident again, that's make you like yourself again, that made you not feel fat anymore, that made you not be afraid that he's gonna go cheat on you anymore, like none of that stuff, like all of those worries were gone. And so at that point I was like, you know what, I'm scared to get married, but I'm gonna do it. And not because I'm like, I'll never find someone again. It was more just like, you have something in front of you that you've been wishing for your whole life, so say yes, you idiot. So that was exactly where my thought process was with that. And then I feel like being loved or loving someone, or just like love is not forgiving for everything that you come through, but like also knowing when someone's at their lowest and picking them up, and loving somebody through their, or like caring for somebody and helping somebody through their bad days. Like if you like family, they'll stand by your side through anything. Or Jesus, or our friendships, like we'll stand by each other. And I think you really, like, you show love by showing somebody that you're there even when you don't want to be. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like being there for that person.
Yeah.
Loyalty.
Yeah, there you go. Loyalty. Yeah. And like caring, like if you're sick, like I'm gonna take care of you, or yeah, like
I know.
Yeah.
Sickness is icky.
I also feel like also love to me, like now that I'm thinking about it, is like acceptance too. Like nobody's perfect,
yeah.
so I feel like everybody has those quirks. Whether it's like something like
I don't know. Nick's
like,
pretty perfect.
For
dang girl, show me where you found him at.
I'm not even saying like
beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Well, then I'll just tell you how much I love my husband.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the thing too, like acceptance, because I feel like nobody's ever perfect, and everybody has those quirky little things that, like, if I were to ask you something that you hate about Nick, you'd be like, oh, I hate that he does this, but I still love him, you know? Like, those little things where it's just like, he gets on my nerves when he does this, but I still love him.
He has this beard. But I love him.
Jesus can't wash the dishes or clean his room, but I love him.
Oh. It's because that bean does it for me. My job is just to mess things up, you know? And then he does the cleaning.
I mean, if it's not messy, how are you supposed to clean
Yeah,
up?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You two are never hanging out alone.
Gosh. But
So,
yeah.
say thank you.
Thank you for leaving me a huge mess to clean up, babe. I love you. I love you too. Okay, but what about...
but I didn't understand. My breaking point is if I lost trust in you. If I completely lost trust
What would make you lose trust? What would he have to do for your trust to break?
Obviously cheating, so we'll throw that one out though, because obviously that's the one thing. But it's like lying and me finding out about little lies, like anything like that, like anything little.
Like white
and
lies?
I find out. Yeah, well, not white lies. Like I didn't drink the whole bottle. I drank half. Like that's fine.
Of course you would say that. What was
like
the,
that's a fine white lie.
What was
Like,
what was the Amy Schumer lie? Like, I don't tell lies. I mean, I'm not like, no, I'm not racist.
yes, I love kids.
Yes, I love kids.
No, but yeah, like oh, I made this for dinner, but you really didn't. You bought it at a store. I don't care about but like things like financially going behind my back, or like telling me you're somewhere when you're not. Unless it's like to surprise me, then like it's fine. Like if you're doing it to surprise me and you told me you were somewhere you weren't, but like if I find out that you're doing something else when you really are doing this, then that's another. Like I'm not saying that's right away is gonna break my trust, but things like that, things like talking about me badly to other people and me finding out about it, especially if you're my significant other. I don't mean that.
I feel
in
like
my
there
life.
would be no
That's
reason
not
for
good.
anybody to ever talk bad about your significant
people
other.
still do it though.
Oh,
like people still
I don't
do
think
it.
I ever
that's a loss
could.
of respect.
Yeah, see?
Because we
It
go
goes-
back.
I mean,
full
circles
circle.
back, yeah.
See, but I feel like there's
Exactly.
like those little moments where like I've gone up to Sarah, like my little sister, and I'm just like,
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
He's an
like-
a-hole. That I'm talking
Yeah,
like
like
you're
little
coming
There's
at
a
every
difference
little
between
thing.
venting and then there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
difference between just talking trash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because you could vent to one person, and then the difference would be
'Cause,
for
like-
me to be like spreading shit around all over town. You know?
Right.
Yeah, because like I know that you and Daisy used to work together, and you guys would kind of not like you guys would still talk about your relationships, not in depth, but like you guys would be like I know that you said sometimes you would tell Daisy like, oh, Davina was in such a bad mood the other day, and I don't know why. Like that's
little
fine.
things like that,
seeing
yeah.
but like Daisy said, going and talking trash on your spouse to somebody else.
That's I don't know. That
Yeah.
I feel like that would be wrong.
So if I found out little things like that, like that would
You're
automatically.
not in love with that person. You wouldn't be in love with somebody who you would trash talk.
See,
you know
but
what I
even
mean?
that, I want to extend it to the point where, like, if I ever heard my significant other talking trash about my family, that would really upset me.
I don't know if that would
too.
break the trust, but I would definitely, if I would, I'd have to put it into place and be like, if you have anything to say about my family, say it to me.
Daisy's giving me like a
Little side eye. Well, obviously you're not going to get along with the family perfectly, so that's not a thing. But like if you're disrespecting the family, hardcore in front of me, then yeah,
Disrespecting
that's
the
fine.
family.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
there we
the
go.
thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Better.
I
way
mean,
to say
there's
it,
there's days
because
where I'm
there's
just
days
like,
where you're like, what the hell?
Yeah. Because I'm like, there's even days that I don't see eye to eye with my sisters.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I
True.
mean?
Yeah. Me too, girl. Me too.
But that doesn't mean that I like trash talk.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
right.
See, that was the better. No, that was a better way to phrase it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna disrespect my family in
Yeah.
front of me, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
so
agree
yeah,
with that.
the trust breaking would be up. Sorry about it, but I can't. So, well, we're getting close to it. I say we give our advice for the week is one advice for anybody who's in a relationship, I guess, to like relationship advice. Your best relationship advice.
Relationship advice?
I have one. I'll
you
go
go.
first so that you don't say I stole your idea.
I already have it right
All
here.
right.
He's reading your mind.
I know.
For me, for me, I think for me it would be to not lose the spark. I was listening to the radio one day and they said that the number one reason for why couples start breaking up is because after they get married, they stop taking care of themselves. So they stop trying to look nice, they stop caring about their bodies and they gain weight, and they stop caring about making their significant other, feel special, and like you said, that bubble bath waiting for you when you get home, or dinner served at the table, your favorite dinner at the table, little things like that. So for me, I think that would be my best advice. There's so much stuff going on like in everybody's lives, but you can make that little effort, that something little that everybody knows what your significant other's gonna like, whether it's buying them a candle for their room or I don't know, whatever it is. But for me, that's my advice. Like, don't lose that spark. Don't lose that little thing.
Have you ever read The 5 Languages of Love?
I have not.
He's gift giving.
Oh yeah, no,
Definitely.
he for sure is. Yeah.
I am a gift giver, but I've never read that book. But David's
I
told me
have
all
it
about
in my
it.
car.
So.
I'll give
You
it
should
to you.
read it.
I have it in my car. I'll give
But
it.
yeah.
Couple things.
He's already
Do things in couples.
he's already told me that. He's always like, oh gosh, you're a gift giver. I'm like, shut
That's not a bad
up.
thing. That's your love
You
language.
love it.
It's okay.
You love it.
What about your advice, Daisy?
My advice is it's easy when you've been in a relationship for a long time, it's easy to forget why you fell in love.
Oh.
So it's easy to, instead of seeing the handsome person that you married, you see this guy who's picking his nose, But
Ay, Nicolas.
but there's so my advice is find something that you find attractive in that person or that you look up to in that person once a week, and keep that in mind whenever you're running. Like the other day, Nick had these like luscious curls, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you look like a fucking angel. And he hates it. Like, he doesn't like curls, so he brushes them out. And I took a picture of that. I was like, wait, let me take a picture. And literally, I would look at that picture and I'm like, damn, my husband's hot. And I think you forget that, right? Because you start to see, like, it becomes an ordinary
Everyday
thing. You
thing.
see it every day. So remember why he's extraordinary or she's extraordinary.
So I'll take a picture of Davin's butt after this.
Make sure you pose it just right so it's like accentuated. But you know what I mean? It could be something like that, or like if he did a kind act that in your mind it stood out. Oh, my husband's so kind, or my husband stood up for me, or sometimes it's just sexy when they stand up for you,
I like that advice.
I like
That's
that
really
too.
good. I think mine is don't be afraid to disagree, and don't be afraid to bring up your disagreements. Don't be afraid to talk. That's my biggest. Like, I was always afraid of that, but I've realized that my relationship has gotten better because of opening up about certain things that I kept to myself and I bottled up, and then it like exploded, and then but it's so much better to just talk, and most people are afraid to get in disagreements about stuff. I'm not saying go and yell at each other all the time, but I mean, if it happens, it happens. But always make sure that you guys come to a conclusion at the end and figure it out rather than let it, like,
Compromise.
yeah, exactly. So that's mine. Just talk to each other. Don't be afraid.
Awesome. Well, I love the podcast, but we will see everybody again once more next week.
Yes.
So we will be talking about something else. We'll see. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend because we'll post this on Friday.
Yes.